don't know, people are thinking too much about it. It's literally like a straight up, you can beat the game with nothing RPG. There's nothing, like, yeah, you just have to be good, which is the hard part. Oh, I've seen people get like chests, I've seen people do a lot of like strange things, and I can understand that. I was really tempted my first run to get chests, and I did. The first couple of runs I was getting chests, and I was like, this is kind of silly because they don't help me in any way. The brown chests are completely random, so unless you want to get something that's only really going to give you like, I don't know, maybe plus 13 to something, that could be plus 13 to something, or it could give you a bunch of minuses. Like, if you get a bunch of minus stats, you're not helping yourself because you need melee just as much as you need magic. And depending on what kind of run you're gonna do, you need health, like in a bad way. That's a bad idea. You need health in a bad way. So I mean, if you can get something that has tons of health, then I would recommend it, but only if it's sort of on the way and worth it. The reason I'm skipping Courage is because I don't think it's needed. I know it helps, but I don't think it's needed at all. Although, you know what, I really should take it because it's gonna make this run so much safer. And I think you know what, I think I might actually take it this run. I'm thinking about it. But not having it is gonna save time. Yeah. So we'll see how I feel. We'll see how I feel when I get there, because like if I'm on a really good pace, I might take Courage just to get the run. But anyway, I'm gonna try to explain the run from now on, because I've been like talking about run-related things, and I think it'll be more interesting for me to actually talk about the run. So, Cat Quest. Story about cats. I'm not going to try to explain the story. I'm not good at stuff like that. I'm not very eloquent at stuff like that. This is a little late. I should be getting here at like 3:08. That's fine though. There we go, and now we're gonna run to the Fire Dragon. So basically, we're just following a quest. The story's about trying to save our sister, right? And in order to save our sister, we gotta get stronger and fight this white cat named Drakoth. That's real bad, so I'm gonna take a save over here. Whatever. I'm gonna break about even at Fire Dragon probably, if I can get this fight. And yeah, your basic RPG. You can use melee or you can use magic, and they're both good. It really depends on what you like to do, really. It's like one of those games where it's up to your play style more than it's up to like what's good. There's nothing that's that much better than anything else. I mean, there are definitely weapons that are better than other weapons, but you can find weapons that are equally good for each playstyle. So fights at the start are really hard because we are very underleveled. Because we have not done any quests. And quests, like finishing quests in areas is really helpful. It gives like an insane amount of experience. Fire Dragon has two basic attacks. They're telegraphed pretty like obviously. There's the fire and there's a melee. They both hurt. The melee's fine. You can get hit by it maybe once or twice in the entirety of the fight, but you do not want to, because it just makes the fight that much scarier. The fire, you do not want to get hit by. The reason you don't want to get hit by the fire is because the fire, you get like burn damage, and burn damage is really painful. We don't have a lot of health, and because we don't have a lot of health, we just don't want that to happen, because it drains most of your health. If you've gotten hit once already, then it drains pretty much the rest of your health. So I mean, you basically can't win if you get burned. You're probably going to die, and you're probably going to lose a lot of time, because when you die in the middle of a quest, you have to restart that quest from the start, and that's not fun. So I would start back in the city that I started in, which I think it's like Paw City or something silly. They're all based off of puns, which is kind of cute. Okay, so I'm about to level up. So basically, yeah, Flame Dragon. So basically I'm running around doing quests, trying to get stronger, and I'm fighting a lot of dragons. The dragons seem to be the big antagonists of the story. Why? We'll find out, maybe. I'm not really gonna explain it though, because it's all in Japanese. Yeah, so about how your mana regenerates, it's not an overtime kind of thing. It's depending on what you hit, how many times you melee, which is, I think it's a really interesting mechanic. It means that you do have to get up close and personal. You can't just rely solely on magic. You can't just have like negative attack and get through the game. Well, I mean, you could have negative attack and get through the game and rely only on magic, but it really helps because you're gonna have to get melee hits anyway. So having a balanced build, that's what I did for my like casual playthrough. Having a balanced build, because then you do a lot of damage with basically everything. But yeah, I think you have like 15 mana. It's always that, and all the spells cost like 2 or 3. And so you get a couple of spells. I think you get like 5 spells in total when you have full mana, or 4. I can't remember if it's like 3 or 4, but it's somewhere around there. And then as you're getting hits, you gain mana. So usually the like method of attack is attack 2-3 times and then spam your R1 as much as possible so that you get those spells in. And what I have at the moment is called Willpower, which is sort of the exact same thing that the dragon had, which is, you know, area of attack and burn damage with fire, which is pretty decent. It's a pretty good starting attack. Just nothing. That's just about it. It's pretty average. It's pretty, you know, it's a standard attack, and it's good. The game offers quite a bit in terms of armor and weapons and stuff, but we're not really gonna mess with that too much because there's a certain weapon that we want, there's a certain helmet that we want, and maybe if I decide to get it, there's a certain armor that we're gonna want, and because they're all the best in the game. So our quest at the moment, even though, you know, it's trying to kill the ice dragon and all this stuff, our actual quest, our speedrunner's quest, is to get these weapons as quickly as possible, so that we can tear through the rest of the game. If I happen to get the armor, the game will be easy. If I don't get the armor, the game will be very hard. I will talk a little more about that after I get the gold key, though. So, right now I just talked to a cat in a field that was, I think, like asleep there for 3 days. I didn't know it was there. A lot of these cats are getting possessed and like turning into sort of zombie cats or dragons. I think, yeah, it's more dragons than zombie cats. And yeah, they don't really know what they're doing in a lot of cases, and they're like eating spoiled meat they shouldn't be, that people are giving, well, that dogs and other cats and dragons are giving them and stuff like that. It's a really silly story. and you're just going around and trying to like heal them, but also find your sister at the same time. They just happen to be around as you're trying to do your questing stuff. So, yeah, the start of the game is really, really difficult because you just do not have as much health as you would like, and enemies attack pretty quickly and do, I mean, not an insane amount of damage, but enough that you don't want to get hit a couple of times. Getting hit once is more than enough. What? Okay. Okay, so now we're gonna get Frostpaw, which... whoops. Okay, so what... Wait, whoa. Frostpaw shoots basically up and down, like north-south direction, and it freezes your enemies for like a couple of seconds. I think it's like 5 seconds, which is really helpful because it makes it so that their attacks don't happen immediately. It takes a lot more time to cast. Like if you see right now, it's taking a lot more time for that dragon to cast its own Frostpaw, which is so helpful. It's gonna help us for a lot of bosses. So we just got this axe. This axe is pretty decent compared to what we have at the moment. I think it gives us the same amount of magic, and it boosts our health and our attack. And again, like, we don't really go for weapons, but it's good to have the better weapons, especially at the start when you're not doing that much damage in the first place. So this is where the game gets a little tougher. You start to see enemies that can attack in like multiple directions, and that gets really scary really fast. Because you really have to pay attention to what their attack pattern is, and sometimes their attack pattern, like, oh wow, that's really dangerous. So this is really dangerous because I'm probably not going to level up until after this fight. And we have to fight 4 enemies in this last area that are really easy, but like, you know, one hit from them and I'm probably going to die. And Frostpaw doesn't do the most amount of damage. It kind of just does enough. It's mostly for the freezing. That's why we don't really upgrade it, because it's not really worth it to upgrade. Okay, so we're gonna run back down. We're gonna hopefully not die to this dragon over here, which can very well happen. Nope, we're good. We're gonna grab this level up. We got the Squire armor, which is going to boost our magic a little bit. I'm gonna wear that after I get water walking, which is going to happen right here. And now, so we can walk on water, which is really neat. We have to go into the water and fight some cat-looking stuff. I'm trying to keep some of my mana because I'm going to have to use that against the S-Dragon. Like, I want some immediate attacks at the start of this fight. Made it to level 19, so usually I would go and upgrade, but I don't think that I need it. The upgrades just don't feel worth it, especially when I'm going to be getting Faith real soon. need to get out of here. I'm about to die. Oh, jeez. Oh yeah, I forgot to say that the dragons can heal themselves. The big ones. Alright, so now I can start attacking. So the only attack I really have to worry about here, because I'm going to be frostpying the hell out of this dragon, is the electricity attack. Because it kind of happens on really odd intervals, so it's really hard to like tell when it's actually going to happen. And it deals a lot of damage. For some reason, the electricity just like destroys us. It's going to happen really soon. Yeah. Oh, that was such a bad time for the heal. Alright, here we go. So this is what we wanted, and this is like a really... That was a really clean fight. And now I just need to go and kill this dragon. Alright. So we're doing well in the world. We're going to equip this, this item real soon. We need to walk over to this watchguard. Watchtower over here, because he's going to tell us, or the guard there is going to tell us where the next dragon is, which is all the way on the right side. But instead of going there, we're going to walk straight down, because I want to go to an island that's below the starting point, called Founder's Island, which is going to get me the gold key. So the gold key is going to be really helpful, and I think I'm going to pick up Courage right after it, because it feels like the right thing to do at the moment. Founder's Island is tough. If I get hit once, I die. Now, I spawn really close, but time loss is time loss, and it's possible to die at like the worst possible. It's possible to die when you think you're not gonna die. There are only like 4 enemies, so it's not the most difficult area, but you just need to sort of play it smart. And over here, we kind of want to take out the ads, which is going to be in the form of like brown chests. So 2 of them are like, all right. This chest does not stay frozen for very long, so I kind of want to get it when I can. They're like mimics. But, oh man, they just have so much magic resistance, it's insane. Okay, so this guy is really tough. Although it doesn't look it. It's the one that usually kills you, because you don't expect it to do as much damage as it does. They do about 999 damage. Anyway, we got the gold key. Everything's good in the world at the moment. I'm kind of happy. So we're talking to the founders right now. The founders are like, you're gonna give us our gold key, right? And I'm like, no. You didn't say you wanted a gold key. Because they said I could have it. But yeah. So there are 2 ways we can go. Oh man, it's so tempting not to take Courage, but Courage only takes about 30 seconds to get, and it makes the route so safe, so I'm going to get it. Courage is in here. It is also possible to die here, because this is a level 200 cave. Which I need to bait this enemy. So yeah, that's really rough. When you get in the range of an enemy and it starts attacking you, you cannot go into... you cannot take a chest, you can't go into a... what's it called? Into a cave, you can't sleep at the cat rest, the catnap areas. You can't really do a lot, and it sucks. So... that part's the worst, because the second that little fluff ball thing gets close to you, you can't open up the chest. Like right here is a really bad chest, because this dragon likes to hover over it. Should be good. This gives us faith. Faith gives us 696 magic attack, which is really helpful. Because I have both courage and faith, I can tank a lot of attacks and I can one-hit most common enemies, which is going to be really helpful. I can still die though. I've died like this before. It's very embarrassing, but it can happen. And I really wanted a run to be Courageless, but maybe next time. I have no courage to do Courageless. Yeah, so my attacks from now on are going to be doing a ton of damage. And I will show you in the first, or the next set of caves that I'm going to go through, which is really soon. So now I'm doing quests in order to get the flight ability. So flight obviously lets me fly. It's the fastest form of movement in the game, so that's really good. Yeah, see, I just basically one-hit that enemy. Makes a lot of scary enemies not scary at all to have both courage and faith. And I don't really need to pick up these orbs anymore, because experience isn't really going to do anything for me. See how like little damage I take? It's kind of ridiculous. But again, I still have to be careful, because there are a lot of things that want to kill me and can kill me. So now my path has been blocked off, and I need to go around to talk to a bush. This bush is going to help me get flight, as I said earlier. It's the fastest form of movement, and it's going to allow us to get to the next Arcana dragon. And also to other areas in the game in order to finish it. And yeah, I mean, it's basically part of the end game. I need it. So anyway, we're gonna get a flight. We're gonna kill the Arcana dragon, and that's basically my goal at the moment. There isn't really anything to say about this. A lot of it's pretty standard. It's gonna be doing caves. The story here is that I get a gem that's supposed to help me gain flight. This happens, it's sort of like the bush and the tree are kind of fighting, becoming dragons or summoning these dragons. Why? I'm not entirely sure. I'm sure someone that understands the story a little more than I can, or I do, can explain it. But anyway, yeah, and I end up with this gem that's supposed to help me gain flight, and this mage, in a second, is going to steal it from me. So I'm gonna have to chase that mage down and kill it. or at least kill what I think is it, which ends up not being it. So over here I have a tiny little fight. Then I have to come over here and pick up the gem. And now there are two areas I can go to. I've actually never taken the left side, and I don't know where the left side goes. I generally go south. I'm gonna meet the mage over here. Oh no, I'm actually going to go into a cave called the Tiny Holes Cave, I believe. Oh wait, no, never mind. I'm mixing things up a little bit. That's the next quest. I meet the mage over there. We talk it out a little bit. Kind of laughs at me. I'm trying to power up this thing because it's still not powered up anymore. This part's a little stale, to be quite honest. But once we're out of here, the game picks up a lot. And it picks up because it's a lot more combat oriented. Yeah, see. So I'm in the middle of a fight, so I can't go into the cave, so I need to kill it. So that's why you try to really get away from a lot of the enemies, because I just took a lot of damage that I should not have taken. Which is going to make this next part a little scary. Because I am going to have to run around with this amount of hit points, and there's nowhere on the way to this next cave that I can actually gain more hit points unless I try to gain levels. Levels aren't really going to help me right now. Levels don't really help you after the start of the game. I think the only thing that levels really help you for are getting the gold key. Okay, so that's fine. I just gained some levels. Yeah, there we go. I gained some levels. I get my health back. All's good in the world. So I'm about to get. Well, no, not about, but I'm on the last quest before I get flight. So I'm gonna have to talk to the bush a couple times, and then I'm gonna fight a dragon that's not very scary at all. I can kind of just tank most of its attacks if I remember correctly. So yeah, we see this dragon. This bush is sort of like fighting its own inner battle with this dragon. That big fluffy cow. And the reason I'm losing a lot of time here is because these splits are not actually correct. Like, I'm doing things in kind of a backwards order. There we go. So I'm gonna get flight in a couple seconds. So we get this. Flight. Now that we have flight, we can go kill the Arcana dragon. So the Arcana dragon's gonna be pretty easy. There is a little bit of dodging to do, because it does heal on some of its attacks, but other than that, the fight's gonna go kinda as you think. So, now we're going to be asked to go back to where everything started. We're going to meet Drakoth. So Drakoth is the main villain, is this like white cat. That's trying to get us powerful for his own doing. There's a whole sort of plot about that shadowy figure that's named Alias. That Drakoth is sort of working under. Drakoth has like sort of a connection to Alias that I'm not entirely certain of. Again, it's sort of like they grew up together kind of thing. So he's trying to restore his life by making me powerful enough to sort of summon him, if I remember correctly. Alright. So we just need to kill this thing off. My health back. And now we're gonna meet Grandpaw. So Grandpaw is gonna help us through a couple of little quests. That aren't very hard, but they're the kind of quests that you get really careless on, which I'm gonna try not to do. So one of them's over here. They're these Masters ruins. Basically, we need to learn the ways of the old Masters kind of thing. In order to do that, we've got to kill a bunch of enemies, obviously. You know, that's how things work. So this is one of the enemies that gives me a lot of trouble a lot of the time, because it's just so easy to walk into it and want to deal as much damage as possible. That's another one. So this is basically the end of the first Master's Ruin. There really isn't a lot to it, obviously, and you get a whole lot of experience for doing it. And then you get this like exposition over here. So there's Alias. Alias like talks to us a whole bunch and tells us a whole bunch of stuff. Now we have to fly all the way across the land. Is there some stuff? There's another Master's Ruin over here. This one... I actually don't remember it very well. Oh, this one's just kind of long. It's not very hard. None of these are really hard. Well, none of these. The two of these that exist aren't very hard. I do notice myself not doing an insane amount of damage, by the way. I feel like getting max might actually be really helpful. Like I should be one-hitting I should be one-hitting those like dragon-looking things, but I'm not. But it's like I don't think I'm losing that much time by not. Guess we gotta see Grandpaw because I always forget to do that. Now we gotta go see Kit, which is our little smithy cat. Smithy cat is going to give us the Dragon Spade, I believe it's called. It's like this really cool sword that's not actually going to help us very much, because we're going to get an even better attack item. We're actually on our way to go get that right now. It's called Willpower, and it gives us an insane amount of attack. Technically, we could go to the end of the game now and probably beat it, but having Willpower is incredibly helpful and a lot safer. I haven't even dared to try the end of the game without it because it doesn't feel worth it, honestly. You just do so much damage with it. And the final boss is actually really difficult without the special items. And I believe final boss, well, Drakoth, is susceptible to melee. So it ends up just, yeah, like, you may as well at that point. It takes a little while to get, but like, there's a lot of walking. But it's not horrible. So willpower is actually a secret item. Courage wasn't hidden. Faith was hidden. Willpower is hidden even better. And it's probably one of those things that a lot of people just completely miss out on because, I mean, look at this. Like, it's kind of unfair where it is. But I should equip it. And yeah, at the moment you see my cat basically is going in with its own free will and whatever. I should probably save, but I think I'm not gonna save, just to save a little bit of time here. I'm trying to be a little careful here. Just in case. There we go. So now we're gonna go fight Drakoth. And hope we don't die. Everything should be fine. We see our sister again. Obviously they're all the wrong one. And then Drakoth is gonna tell us something a little sad about how we actually don't have a sister. And that entire point of this was to get more powerful so that we could like use our energy and whatnot to summon Drakoth's little friend. So we're gonna fight Drakoth there. Fight Drakoth there, and so, you know, it seems like, you know, whatever. It's kind of a whatever boss. Drakoth? Isn't the easiest boss. Not necessarily the hardest boss either, though. But it's one of those bosses where, like, if you get caught in its chain attacks, you will die. And you don't want to die. And then Drakoth uses, like, the last of its power, last of his power, to try to take you out, but then realizes that he can't, and gets lost in the void. Oh, what? I, like, warped. Huh. I mean, it wasn't very far. Anyway, our little friendly cat here is like, you're the best friend I've ever had, kind of thing. Like, you know, you're so nice, it was so nice to have you as a partner. And then we look at Drakoth's stuff, we learn a little bit about Drakoth, where Drakoth sleeps and reads books. There's a picture of Drakoth with Alias. And then we're just gonna leave because we're kind of tired of ransacking his room. And game's over. 38:45 is a really good time. And I recorded it. Good.